Hey guys, so I am going to outline my drawing. It's based off Kaminari and Sero Hanta, Hanta Sero from My Hero Academia. I'm so excited actually. I can't stop being giggly. So yeah. But anyways, let me get started outlining and start talking. My voice might be a little bit shaky because I drank pop and ooh, my voice is like going away. So, Denki Kaminari is like one of my favorite characters. He's super cute and derpy and a little bit not that well in the show. I would say his power can be very powerful, but he doesn't really know how to make it to that level yet. But I'm gonna watch the show and keep watching and see how he grows progressively. Like in the storyline, all the characters grow like so beautifully. Like they're on season 4 and I've watched all the seasons out so far, and I'm gonna say they're so beautiful the way they portray the characters. And like I heard the comics were really good, so I need to collect those. But it's so pretty. Like, I can't believe it. Like, not just the art style, but how the characters are and how they develop. It's so gorgeous. Like, I'm in love with, like, every single aspect of, like, how they grow. Because they're just that amazing. Denki is very electrifying because his quirk is electrification, which is basically he can zap anyone within a 10 meter radius, or is it a mile? I think it's 10 meters. But it's super strong and powerful. But if he uses his power too much, he becomes kind of derpy and he gets stupid for a bit. But I don't know. I just love the characters so much. I kind of wanted to talk about like how inspiring this show has been to me, cause I don't know. Like when I was younger, I was like drawing art and stuff like that. And when I started my YouTube channel, I was actually like super passionate about Full Metal Alchemist. And Full Metal Alchemist was like this anime, my first anime, and it like rocked my world. I was like, wow. Like my first anime, just like mind blown. And I loved it, like that it had romance, action, and everything in it that you needed. But it wasn't like it wasn't like super romantic. It's not like other shows where it's like, oh, this is just straight up romantic. But it was something different, and it had like a lot of action in it. After a while, I have to say, like, my passion and my drive, like, I love to draw and stuff like that, but my passion and my drive for art kind of fell. Like, when I started working in my job, basically, it's not that I hated my job, it wasn't because of that. It's more of when I did my job, because I'm full time now, it's like I took in like so many hours to help out. And every time I did a video, it felt like a chore. Like, oh my gosh, I need to do a video or else I won't have enough videos to upload within like this amount of dates. And so I would be like rushing to upload videos, and it's like it became kind of meaningless, to be honest, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like I was like losing some inspiration, and like every time I came up with like a new thing to draw, I just became like a little bit bored of it, and it became bad because it's like, okay, it's kind of an artist block and I don't want it to be. So it went on for a while. Like, I have to admit, like, it went on for a while. I wasn't super inspired by anything. Everything just became boring. And it just like became this chore. It kind of became like a job where it's like, oh, I have to do this. I have to get up and go work. And it kind of became like that. Like I had so much excitement for work, but for this it was like that job that you're kind of like, I'm not really into it, but I have to do it. And like I know like I don't get paid by YouTube cuz I'm not at that level yet. But like you'll notice like there was like a decline in terms of like what type of content I was putting out and stuff like that, and it was so boring. Like I felt this boredom in me. Like it was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing wrong? Like I don't feel like doing something. And there will be times where like I didn't, you guys wouldn't notice because I have like lists of like an entire list of videos to go through and upload every single moment of my life. But basically it just got to the point where it was like, what am I doing wrong? Like I'm clearly doing something here that feels like a chore, and like I'm so passionate about drawing. What's wrong? And it got to the point where I was like, I wouldn't draw for like a whole week. And then later on, I would be like, okay, I gotta make a video because if I don't, I'm gonna run out of videos to upload. And that was like my mentality throughout like the like entire last year when I was working, and I was like, something's wrong. Like it feels like an artist block, and sometimes I didn't know what to draw too. So when my friend introduced me to My Hero Academia last year, I watched some. I was super into it. I watched like a couple videos a day before I went to work and stuff like that. It's really exciting to see. And then I stopped because I stopped binge watching anime for like a few years to begin with. So for me to just start binge watching again, like I wasn't into it. But I did really like the show to the point where I watched like 2 or 3 episodes per day. So it was a start. Then before COVID-19 hit, like a little bit before that, well, not before COVID-19 hit, but before I had to actually, say like a month or two before it actually started affecting the workplace, and we had to like leave, and we had to like not go to work anymore. Um, I started watching it again, like some episodes again here and there, and I was like, I want to watch it at work. So during break time, I would just pull out my phone and start watching it. And it got to the point where it was like this really bad quality on like, so I was watching it, and then what happened was COVID-19 happened, quarantine time. So it was like really bad, and I was like, my words. Basically, what happened is they told us don't come to work anymore, so I was like, okay. And then I was watching it, and I got to this part where it was like really bad in quality because I was watching it free on YouTube, and that's all that I was doing because I was like, I wanted to watch it for free, right? But then what happened was they kept advertising Funimation, and they advertised that they had it on Funimation. So I quickly subscribed to Funimation and I paid for it. I think they had like a 1 to 2 free week trial, and then so basically I went for it and it was super good. They had it. They just don't have the OVAs and the movies, but I was like, yeah, I'm into it. So I watched it and it was so good. Like they had all the dubs and they had all the subs and they even had uncut versions. So I watched all the uncut versions of the episodes. Just so good. Like it's so pretty. And like basically that's how it started. I feel like I feel like this has really given me a turn in like how I'm drawing my art. Like now I'm so passionate again cuz like before when I was younger, I was like super passionate. I was super into it. Um and I kind of lost that spark to be honest, but now I'm super passionate again and I want to see like just this one story alone like really keeps me on the edge of my seat because it's like there's so much going on and like they're superheroes but they're so relatable. There's a part of them there's that's just like, oh, they're superheroes, they have powers, and then you can't forget that they're just kids. They're like 15 years old, and I know I'm not a kid anymore because I'm like 21, so it's kind of weird to like characters, but it's like, yeah, this is just what it is. It's just like, oh, they're just kids, and when they like in the show, they go through so many things, and then they have to mature really quickly to situations and stuff like to adapt to situations because they want to be heroes in the world. Like it really just shows like how intense the story is and how like realistic the story is in terms of like not that they're heroes because heroes aren't super realistic, but the fact that they're just people and they're kids and they have to go through that process of learning who they are and why they want to be a hero and everything like that. So this whole story is so fascinating to me and it really got to me. Like I was like always excited, like to the point because there was nothing to do. So when I subscribed to Funimation, I would just binge watch the whole anime because I was on like season 2 or 3 when I was on season 2, like the beginning when I stopped work. So I was like, I gotta watch this. I gotta finish. So that way, when the season 5 comes out, I won't be like behind and trying to watch everything at once. So, literally, something that is like so amazing. So, Sarah is a little bit more about the characters. Sarah is 5'9", which is super tall, and then Denki is 5 foot 5'6", which is one size shorter than me. But yeah, it's like super cute. Um, they definitely like. I'm pretty sure like I didn't completely draw Sero the right size, but because he's slouching a lot in this drawing, I'm just gonna say he's slouching a whole lot. And like his head, you can tell his neck is kind of bent more. So yeah, you can say that's what it is. Zero's just that character that's like he gets screen time, but not a lot. So you're like kind of want to learn more about him, which I'm sure they'll do. Um, but he's like he's like super fun in the show. But yeah, these guys are like super fit. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, for these characters, I have to say like there's something about them that just hits home with me cuz like I don't really talk about it much because I don't feel like there's a need to. But basically, when I was in grade 5, my mom passed away from cancer, and I'll probably talk about more in a separate video. But basically, that's what happened. And you kind of have to learn, like, when that happens, like when you lose someone in your life, like that important, you're kind of like, oh, I don't have a stepping stone anymore in my life to learn from, someone to teach me how to do things. And at that age, I was pretty young, so I had to like just because I had my dad around doesn't mean he was always around, and just because he was there, it didn't mean that like he would teach me everything I needed to know. In fact, I pretty much did horribly afterwards because my studying technique was really bad to the point where it was like, yeah, that's kind of why I didn't get good grades in high school. But it's not because of him, but it's more so like when my mom was around, we used to do like so many things that had to do with studying to the point where I was like super good at math and stuff like that. But then I started declining as that happened. Um, and then whenever I see these characters, it's like, yeah, I mentioned before, like, yeah, they're kids, but when they see something happen, like when you see something happen in the show, like something serious happen, like, oh, there's a real life villain that threatens their whole life and they could possibly get injured or killed at any time in the show, it's like, it's so, like, it hits you to home because it's like this is what it is to become mature. Like they're 15, they're getting older by the years, but they were 15 in the beginning of the show, and that really shows like how much they need to progress and become mature. And just going from season 1 to season 4, if you watch the show, it's so good, like in terms of like they build everyone up in terms of like, oh, they're getting more mature, they're learning how to handle certain situations and stuff like that, and dealing with stuff that's like life threatening, and it makes you need to be mature. And I feel like I remember as a kid, like from a teenager to now, like it's a process of learning like how to be like, yeah, we don't have superheroes and like super um strength in real life, but at the same time, it feels like, okay, I had to learn this as a kid myself. I had to do this myself and stuff like that. And it's really difficult because it's like, okay, what if I don't know how? And for me, it was like, okay, I don't have one of my parents anymore. So, and the other parent like needs to work constantly. So I always had this time where I was like, okay, I gotta do things myself. So eventually, like, you grow up and you're like, okay, I gotta mature. And everyone has that time in their life where they have to mature differently. Like, something traumatic happens in your life, or just like something really important. And then it hits you, and you're like, oh, I can't be like this anymore. I can't be a kid about it. And the show really spoke to me in terms of like, yeah, you gotta keep going as a person and develop yourself. And it was so touching because Funimation actually has, I know I'm talking a lot, but Funimation actually has these extra videos that you can watch, basically the dub. The people at Funimation who dub the characters into English, they're talking about it and they're like, you should be a hero in the real world, whether or not you're like doing a super big thing or not. And like that really inspired me because I was almost gonna cry, but I was like, whether I make money off my art or not, I really just want to make people happy, you know? I want to see people smile. And I know it's really cheesy cuz it sounds like I'm Deku cuz Deku wants to like go out there and save people and just save them with a smile like All Might does. And it's so amazing. Like the show really hit my heart so really badly to the point where I'm like rambling on about it. But yeah, that show, it's it's something else. Like that's why I'm so inspired and so pumped like to draw these drawings. But yeah, it's just a little insight about things. I know I'm getting carried away every time like I talk about it. Like my last video, I drew Kirishima and Bakugo. I got carried away. But yeah, here's the overview of my drawing. Basically, Denki is tying his hair. So, and all their hair is down, so that's why Sero's hair is kind of like flowy. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check out in the description box below all my social medias there. You can go like and follow those. All the process work for this drawing will be posted on there as well. And if you want to see my Bakugo and Kirishima, that one will be on my drawings playlist. And so are my other My Hero Academia drawings that have inspired me so much are on there as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!